Hey there, you two! Darryl back at you again for another episode of Darryl's Vape Tape. So what's up, you two? How's everybody doing? Hopefully good. Hopefully wherever you're at, whatever the hell you're doing, hopefully it's working out for you, alright? For me, I'm just chilling out, bringing you guys another video, alright? And today we are going to be looking at an absolutely fucking beast of an RDA, alright? The Temple RDA, alright? And don't get your panties in a bunch. It is the clone, alright? So we don't have the authentic version here. But, you know, most of the time I try clones. It's you know, a pretty basic, you know, it's pretty the same, alright? I can't say it's exactly the same. Sometimes the grub screws strip out a little bit worse on a clone. But I haven't had really any issues on this, alright? So this is a 30mm Addy. And what a fucking beast. Airflow for days. There's no way that I can keep the airflow wide open on this thing. It will choke me out. I've already done it a couple times, and I mean, that's kind of why I haven't put a video out on this RDA itself. I've had it for probably 3 weeks, a month now, maybe a little longer. But every time I try to do a video on it, I just end up choking myself out. Some of the builds that I've stuck in this fucker are just so big that I don't know. It's just too much for me, alright? Right now, we have a dual alien wire in here. We're reading about a 0.26 and running about 90 watts. Let's go ahead and take a vape. Now, I'm only taking maybe a 2-second toke, so you can only imagine if I had enough lungs to inhale maybe a 6 or 7-second toke. I mean, this fucker is just an absolute animal. I mean, I just can't get over how massive coils you can put in this. Anything that you can imagine, you could probably put in here. I haven't found a build that I haven't been able to put in there. You know, I'm not an expert builder. I went to the vape shop when I first got it, and they just put like a wicked nasty, like a fucking quad Clapton in there. And it was just too much for me. It's just too much, alright? So I had to take that out, and I ran it with a normal Clapton in there. And that performed really good. And the best flavor and the best vape that I found is with this alien wire in here. So it just performs great, alright? But without further ado, without me babbling too much about it, let's go ahead and dive down to the table and take a closer look. Alrighty, so we're looking at the Temple RDA packaging right now. On the front, you can see it's branded with Temple on it. Temple RDA. The rest of the sides of the boxes are pretty plain. On the bottom, though, it does say no noobs. Alright, and that is absolutely 110% correct. If you don't know what you're doing, don't touch this guy. And then on the inside here, you got your RDA and some other goodies. Also in the box, it comes with some spare goodies here. You got a Phillips head screwdriver, some extra O-rings for the top and the bottom of the RDA. It looks like about 28 gauge wrap pre-built wire and some extra grub screws. Also inside the box, it comes with a spare chamber. So this is the gold one. So you got your air holes right here. It says Temple, air holes on the other side. And there's the inside of it. So this is a spare chamber that you get also in the box so you can switch out the colors. Alrighty, and last but not least, you have the star of the show, the Temple RDA 30mm Addy. What a fucking beast, alright? Few specs for you. She's primarily made of stainless steel and Delrin for the drip tip. And without the drip tip on there, you're looking at about 30mm or 35mm. With the drip tip, you're looking at about 30 or 42mm, alright? Start on the bottom here. You have your serial number. Looks like I'm number 4540. You have a stainless steel 510 pin. The threads are okay. For a clone, I wouldn't really expect much more, okay? Jumping right up here to the top with the drip tip, you're looking at a 12mm wide bore drip tip. Fucking beast. Chuck some clouds with this guy. Got one O-ring on it, which it does come with a replacement. And then on the top catch section, if you wanted to take the drip tip off, you could drip right in there. And for the airflow right here, at least for the top section, you would adjust it with this top. So whatever you change it to on this side will be the same on this side. Okay, so you can have her wide open. Or if you spin it a little bit more, it'll just open up the bottom for you. Or you can close it off, open it up however you would like, okay? taking this top section off here, you can see what I'm talking about. One side here you have the bottom, and then if you wanted to use this side, all the holes would be open. Have one more O-ring right there, and this is the center cap right there. And then right here, this is where that gold one that comes in the kit, this is where that comes into play. If you wanted to switch them out, you could just switch them out, go all brass, or you could keep it all black and go brass, okay? Your choice, your option, they give it to you, okay? So right here's your center cap section. You have the bottom airflow and the top airflow. The top airflow you adjust with the top cap, and the bottom airflow adjust when you put it on here. So if you put it on with the solid side facing, it will close that off. Put it with the open side facing, it'll open it wide open. And you can spin it and adjust it however you want. You can see the deck section is just fucking massive. 2 velocity style posts, way so far wide apart. You can put any build in here you can imagine you could fit it in here. Awesome size post holes. The grub screws are Phillips head, which it comes with the spare Phillips screwdriver in the kit. And you can see the juice well is just fucking massive. I mean, once you wick this and get it going, you're vaping for a minute before you got to juice it up again. And there it is. You got 2 solid O-rings right there. But why don't you let me go ahead and put a build in here? We'll come back at you and we'll take a little look at it. Alrighty, so we just got done throwing a build in here. And what I got in here right now is an alien wire. I got a 0.8 flat, and I got for the kernel, and I got a 32 gauge wrap around the kernel. And, yeah, it looks alright. I mean, it's not the best build I've ever had, but I think it's going to work out pretty sufficient. And also, I just want to point out, I'm underestimating the deck on this one. You could put any build that you can imagine in this deck. I mean, you can see how big it is. This is a little smaller than what I'd usually do in a deck this size, but it'll work just fine for the review here. Alright, so why don't we go ahead and take it back up top. We'll vape on it a little bit and talk a little bit more about it. Alrighty, so we just got done taking an up-close look at the Temple RDA Clone. And, like I said, what a fucking animal. I mean, this RDA is just a beast. You know, I keep the airflow closed off on the bottom and only halfway open on the top. And that's really all I can handle. I mean, it's just a monster RDA. I mean, if you like lung hits and you like putting some wicked fucking builds in there and you just like doing some just nasty coils, this is going to be the RDA for you. I have not found a coil that has not fit in here. The post holes are huge. The decks, I mean, the velocity posts on there are so wide apart that you could probably put a 12, 13 wrap Clapton or a 13 wrap, you know, Alien or whatever you wanted to build in there, you could fit it. I promise you that, okay? This is like a, you know, a builder's dream for an RDA because you could put anything you want in there. I mean, the problem with some RDAs is you just can't put any build in there. This one, absolutely no build that you cannot fit in there, okay? So, like I was telling you guys on the front, I got the dual alien wire reading a 0.26, running about 90 watts. I'm going to crank it up a little bit just to show you guys what this motherfucker can do. Alright, so I'm going to go about, we'll push it about 110. Alright, 110 seems like a good number. Let's just round it off, 110. Let's go ahead and take a vape. So, you can't even appreciate the size of the clouds. I'd probably have to be like 10 feet back from the camera for you to fully appreciate the cloud size that you get off this RDA. I can't even fully explain it to you. You would have to get it in your hand and try it out, okay? It's just monster, alright? It's just massive monster RDA, okay? So, let's go ahead and talk pros and cons, okay? So, let's talk pros first. Deck size, fucking massive. Any build that you want to put in there, you're going to be able to put in. Alright? The next pro for me is, man, the well on this, the juice well on this is probably, I don't want to exaggerate, but probably a good 3 to 4 mil juice well on this. So, I mean, I catch myself juicing this up probably every 30 minutes. If you're chain vaping, you know, I don't know, maybe a little less, maybe a little longer if you're not vaping as much. But this is the only RDA that I don't have to drip every 15, 20 minutes. Alright, I get a long life out of the juice well on this, alright? The next pro for me is airflow for days. All right, like I said, I can't even run it all the way open. It's just too fucking much. This RDA, you know, one of the things I want to say before I get into too much with pros and cons is this is not for the beginner. All right, this is not for the guy that this is not going to be your first RDA, or it shouldn't be your first RDA. You want to really have a good understanding of what you like, what you can handle, those kind of things before you get this in your hand, all right? Like I was telling you guys, this is the only RDA that I've ever put in my hands that has choked me out. It's nicked me out. I only vape 3 nick. But if you chain vape this thing, I mean, with the 30mm Addy, it just kind of forces the fucking air down your throat, and it's almost just too much, all right? So, another pro for me is I really like the look of it, all right? It is a humongous Addy. There's not one device that I have, and I have about 10 of them over here, that fits this Addy on there. I mean, you can just see it's a little overhang there. I mean, it's 30mm wide, so it's just massive. It's just huge. I mean, the closest one that I have is probably the RX200. Fits it okay because it's got a little girth to it. But any other mod, it just won't fit on there, okay? So, for cons, there's a few, and like I said, this is not the authentic version. This is the clone, so it might just be the clone. But I wish they would have used a hex head instead of a Phillips on the grub screws. Okay, just hex heads, I get a little tighter screw in, and I just feel like this is probably going to strip out. As far as the Phillips head, strip out a little bit. Another con is the tool that they give you in there to use for the grub screws. It's just so small. I just had to use my own Phillips screwdriver for it, just because it makes it a little easier to crank it on there and make sure your grub screws are real tight, okay? So that's one con. The next con for me, and this is going to be subjective, some of you guys might like it, some of you guys might not, it's just big. I mean, it is just really fucking massive. I don't know, it's just really big, alright? The next con for me is it does not come with a 510 drip tip adapter, so you will not be able to put your favorite 510 drip tips on right. You know, it's just not going to fit on there, okay? It does have, I really like the Delrin that's on here now. It's kind of like a chuck top. It's really good. It just allows all the vapor to come in. I don't even know if I would like to put a 510 on here, just for the main fact that it's a lot of vapor going into a little bitty hole. Alright, so I don't know if I'd like that. Honestly, I really haven't had any problems with it. It's performed really well. There's been no leaking, no problems at all. It fires every time. I haven't had any issues at all. The grub screws haven't backed out on me yet. Okay, I've been running it for about, like I said, I've had it forever, but I've been running it religiously about, I don't know, last 3 weeks, and it performs great. They haven't backed out on me yet, and I've put, you know, numerous amount of builds in here just to really test it out. At all best, this is for the veteran. This is for the guy that likes building just crazy fucking wicked builds, alright? So, let me go ahead and take one more vape for you guys. I'm going to crank it up just a little bit more, and I'm going to try to get you guys to fully understand what this guy will do. We're going to go 130. Alright, that's top for me. I'm not going to go any higher than that. But just for you guys, 130, let's go ahead and take a vape. Honestly, 130, it hits pretty smooth. I mean, I didn't even think that was going to be, I thought that was going to be real rough. I thought I was actually going to choke on camera on that, and I don't even like recording that shit. But it actually hit really smooth at 130. You know, and like I said, it's all going to depend. I get really good flavor out of this Addy. Maybe that's just because it forces it down your fucking lungs. But I do get really good flavor. It performs really well, alright? So, let's talk price. Alright, so for the clone, I found it a couple different places. The cheapest I found it is $11. $11 fucking dollars. If you can't buy an $11 Addy, I mean, there might be a problem there. Alright, $11 Addy, 30mm RDA. If you're talking some wicked builds, doing whatever you want to do with an RDA, this might be the one right here. Okay? So I'll make sure I put the link down in the description for this fucking monster fucking RDA here. And, yeah, I think that's pretty much going to sum it up for me today. So, you know, thanks for watching. If you guys liked anything today's video, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't, I really don't give a fuck. Alright? But that's, yeah, that's all. Alright? So just remember, vape on, YouTube.